Okay, so we've been playing break swap boogie here. So I've had to get adapters and swap adapters, but basically, you got a master cylinder that came from Mancini Racing, which, by the way, the adapter, I got the wrong adapter. I got the ones with studs. I need the ones without studs. So the adapter has the 4 posts. It'll use the original 4 studs, and then it bolts to the middle. But right now, it's just being mocked up. We're trying to get this thing pinned down before we put the Hemi in it. But this came from inline tube, and I had to figure this out on my own. Been a minute, but this is from when we were racing it. I'm gonna keep it. This is a residual valve, and this had to be on there. Remember, this is from Wheelwood. This is a proportioning valve. Has a residual valve so that we can run our, I think, disc in the front and drum in the back. Now, I remember having to put that on, and it solved my brake issues. So we're going to stick with it because we're still going to have disc in the front, drum in the back. So this, it's just kind of like a puzzle. You kind of, basically what it did is it just started without the master cylinder even on. I sat here and I had to kind of turn it. First I thought it went down, but it doesn't. This distribution block goes straight up. So if you're working on a 68 through 70, or maybe 67 through 69, somewhere in there, this is how your not proportion valve, but your distribution block should be mounted. And of course I've got the towel here to keep from scratching it up anymore than I have, but yeah. And then here I had to cut the fitting they had from inline to go to I don't know if they call this a 5/8 fitting, but I had to go to a different fitting for it to fit. So now that all that's on, we've got probably just start cinching this stuff up. Obviously we can't start bleeding brakes or anything until we get our Wheelwoods on, but man, I am happy. So let's let this thing down a little bit. If you guys can see this, and I'll pull the towels so y'all can look at it. If you're doing a brake system, brake line routing on a 68, 69, Dart, Barracuda, Valiant, whatever, A-body, this I believe is what it should look like. So let's get this thing down and check it out. And there's what it looks like. So I need to kind of bend some things around, but you can see where the original went, like right there. Yep. So you see the clip over there where it went around for the original line it came across. Of course, this wouldn't have had this loop in it, but we'll try to bend some things around. But anyway, you get the idea of how it came around. It actually went over this. So if I got to pull this up, we can put the steering column in. But the biggest thing is getting this done before we go to put the engine in it. So brakes, yay. I know it took longer, but when I have to flare stuff, I'm not great at flaring. You guys out there are, but it took me a minute, but I got it. So let me know what y'all think about the brake line routing, and if I've got it wrong or you have ideas for improvements, let me know. Again, I can go back and straighten up. When we get the adapter in, this is going to kind of pull everything tight, and yeah. So I'm really not going to cinch anything up yet until I get my adapter. We're making progress. Oh my gosh. So let's keep going. All right. O-ring on this one here. Okay. Get to put your little grease here. All right, so I'm mocking up one of the lines. It's going to come from the dryer to the HVAC system coming out of the firewall. So obviously they have to be crimped, but I'm going to go ahead and get everything set up where I can take it back off and take it to a hose shop and have them properly crimp these things. I put some of that mineral oil on here. I'm going to see if I can get these hoses are you're not going to stretch these much, so I'm going to see if I can get this thing on. All right, I use that mineral oil that came with the Classic Air system. I usually use Earl's, but I don't think the compressor or the HVAC system, the dryer, they may not like that. So that's why I don't want to contaminate the system. The other thing is, when you put these couplings in, I noticed they got a little hole. That tells me right there that I've bottomed the hose out to the coupling right there. So now I'm going to put this on. I'm going to measure back to the dryer how I want to route this, and really just as easy as cutting it, putting it on, and then taking it to a hose shop to be crimped. I don't know if these hose cutters are going to cut this or not, but we're going to give it a shot. Now I'll get my bigger ones out. They might. I don't know. These hoses are high pressure, so okay. Well, I guess it will. Sweet. Okay, now I know the factory, it seems like my old factory had hooks right here to hold this, just kind of keep it suspended. So I'll probably get on Classic and order that. But now we've got our high pressure from the dryer hooked up. And last thing, I think I'm gonna hook this little, I think it's trinary switch up. Let me get that. And again, they asked me from Classic Auto Air if I wanted a trinary switch. I can't remember how much more it was, but I think this is really important to have. It starts building up pressure in the condenser. I think it shuts the AC compressor off. I think that's what this does. You guys tell me in the comments. I'm not an expert, but let me get this on. There it is. Well, I'm very, very happy. Doesn't look like much, but it is. So we got the brakes pretty much routed. The adapter, I've got to get the adapter from Mancini. I'll get that ordered Monday. So now brake lines, distribution block are all routed. Now we've got our hose we've got our dryer mounted, and the high pressure line coming from the dryer to the box going inside to the evaporator unit. Got our clips. I need to get another one of those black clips that holds the conduit. I gotta get more conduit like that for this side, for this wire loom right here coming on this side, but it's really coming along. So it's one of those things, you see me bouncing all over the place, right? But I'm bouncing all over the place because the way the car is going together, and I wanted to get the brakes, the lines and everything routed so it wasn't fighting that while the engine is in. So the coilover suspension is on its way from Hemi Denny. And you guys, he's a pleasure to work with. Highly recommend Denny Laub. I hope I pronounced his name properly. If I didn't, forgive me. But Denny's great to work with. So we've got the coilover suspension coming with the rack and pinion, and I've ordered the Wilwood brakes. Disc brakes that are coming from Wilwood for Mustang 2 spindles. That's on its way. Now what we've got to focus on, we got to get these and then coated. So we're going to try that ourselves. We're going to show y'all. Probably going to start on those tomorrow to get these headers ready. So I still have a few things. So if you come over and you look at the Hemi, you find a place to mount this can't stay here. This is the catch can. So I want to find a place to mount the catch can. And I'm also hoping and praying that it's going to fit with this air cleaner on here. You know, with my small block, I had a 2-inch spacer on that thing, a Wilson spacer with a carburetor with an M1 intake. So I'm thinking it's going to be okay, but not sure about the length here. We're going to find out, but I'll have to figure out where to move this, to mount this. This may be something Trish and I look at, see if we've got some places, maybe up by the core support. But yeah, it's really coming along. I'm really, really happy. So I hope, folks, I know it seems a little bit at a time, like Johnny Cash, but it is making forward progress. Those brakes always slow me down. So having the brakes routed and mounted And then the HVAC system coming along really, really well. I took some time off later for next month, and we're going to have a big party here. Trish and my daughter coming up from Texas. We're all going to be putting this thing together. So, yeah, short video today, but the Barracuda is coming along. So if you hadn't already, please give me comments. Tell me what you think. But anyway, please like, share, and subscribe. Hope everybody has a great day.